There we go. There we go. Not bad. Not bad. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game one between Zuppi and Yo. This is a best of three on Acropolis. I was saying today before we started, I just said a moment ago we were reviewing things beforehand, that Mr. Yo played lights out with Magyars for Xiaofan yesterday. He chose Magyars again. He is in the red here. And then in the blue in the south, we have Zuppi. Zuppi, a part of Suomi. He's using his Nabs tag.
Oh, you butchered that. You butchered
What,
that.
Suomi?
It's
What?
Suomi. Suomi.
Well, you lived in Finland for a year or
Yeah.
two, so I guess I have to take your word for it. But regardless of how you pronounce it, get used to me mispronouncing things. He has chosen Huns. He's a very good player. I just say Winlands or Finlands. We'll stick to that. So with me, I have Dave, who has already taken a shot at me. That's how we like to do things. And Dave, what do you think about this map, man? It is so different to what we saw last time.
Team Acropolis is always very interesting to me because, like, you can choose to try and wall your area off in the big hill, but it's super hard. So
Yeah.
most likely you're gonna go for aggression to keep your opponent in their base. And like you look at Zuppi's map, and his TC is wide open at the front, and all his res is back. And then you look at Yo, and more of his res is forward, so he's gonna have to protect that area, whereas Zuppi can just keep falling back deeper into his base.
Yeah, and even if you quick wall your resources, your wood especially will soon be gone from that lumber camp, right? About 8 to 10 trees per each little patch here. So that's not a great long-term plan. So as you said, aggression is normally the way to go. Both players looking to lure in deer. Yo in the north, he's already pushed in one, which is a great food boost for him. Normally you see mobile units with these civilizations, so maybe they'll build up towards scouts and cav archers and knights later on. The one thing I want to touch on, Dave, is the wood. Again, where do you go for TCs later on? Well, it's normally at the bottom of this hill. On the left-hand side for Yo, he has that little gap next to the two boars. And then he has one to the right-hand side where his scout is that's a little bit more forward. Both of those are not ideal, that's for sure. You look at Zuppi. Zuppi has one in the right corner. That's not awful, I guess, because he can wall it off a little bit, but that stone pile will make his TC spot awkward. And then forward, he has one. So I guess it's fair, the wood is. There's two locations for both players, and both players have forward gold, so it's not too bad.
There's also some extra boars on this map as well. Like you look
Yeah.
at Zuppi, he's got two kind of within distance, kind of, little bit.
Where are
Not
they
really.
at? Are they
They're
in
on the
the
left-hand side of his big hill.
Oh, yeah. I doubt we'll see them, but hey, maybe Dave called it. He has a knack for calling these weird things. So maybe when the TCs go up, because that wouldn't be a bad area to TC for Zuppi, they will collect those boars.
Also, the Civ matchup is kind of interesting. I mean, Huns obviously don't have to build the houses, but I would rather have a Civ that has houses on this for the quick wall potential.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The quick wall potential, and also Magyars, beyond that, they have stronger power spikes. So if both are going scouts, immediately when the feudal age hits, the Magyar scouts will get extra attack per age. That will then, that's for all their melee units. So if he goes for man-at-arms or pikes or knights, anything that would be free. And Zuppi would have to pay for it. So I think if you choose Huns, you choose Huns because it's a little bit more fluid to play. And because you do save some wood by not having to build houses. But Mr. Yo's engagements will be stronger with melee units. I guess also we should say that the cav archers are slightly cheaper for Huns as well. But then in late game, Magyars with their unique tech have stronger cav archers.
Yeah, Huns definitely with the better eco sort of bonuses.
Yeah.
And Magyars, a better composition at the end of the game, I think.
Yep. So Yo clicks up first after luring in just one deer. Oh, I'm sorry, two deers. I'm obviously blind. He'll go for a second lumber camp, which is the norm for scouts, and it'll be about 9 to 10 on wood. He'll probably build along the front with the houses and with the military buildings. As you said, Dave, he seems to be running forward for that deer with 3 villagers. That's somewhat risky on a map like this, but he wants more food, obviously. It will be scouts v scouts, and I was Uh, Talking about the last time I saw Yo play this map, he was lights out with Magyar scouts. He had a 4-1 KD at the end of the game versus Yalfan. So Zuppi will need to keep an eye on where Yo is going with his units, and he will need to make sure he somehow matches up to the firepower of Magyars, because again, Yo will get that additional attack.
Mhm.
And Zuppi, he doesn't have the best scouting of his opponent's base, but maybe now this is where you scout for the extra wood lines. Not sure how the players normally utilize their scouting. Like Yo, for
Zuppi,
example, he hasn't gone for the scouting around the hill.
Zuppi's going for gold. Interesting.
Zuppi's going. Oh, is he? Oh, that's really late too.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Like you would just assume they would do a scout build here, but
He could go straight archers. He'd have to stay very what?
stable. Okay, Zuppi, you do your thing, man. You do you.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
be fine.
Let's not judge him. We should point out that Yo has not scouted that gold. It would be interesting if he scouted that and then assumed it was archers and then got caught out by scouts, because he hasn't seen a stable. Oh, it's a stable and an archery range for Zuppi. So, okay, he's going with a few scouts and then maybe into faster
And
archers.
Interesting. Very interesting.
You know, I think earlier, who played earlier? It might have been yesterday. It was one of the Finland's players. So it was either Zuppi or Max. They used a similar build, and I was thinking to myself as I was watching Zach and Killer B cast, what on earth is this build order? And maybe they trained together and they thought up a new strategy, because Zuppi, using the flexibility of Huns, has archers, scouts, and spears. Lots of military.
Yo just saw units garrison in both the archer range
Yeah.
and the stable, so he's pretty wise to what Zuppi's doing at the moment.
Yep. And he runs past Zuppi's scout. It's important that Zuppi spotted that. Zuppi doesn't have any spears in his wood line, Dave. Well, I used one, but it's not on the right wood line.
And
so he runs back.
These scouts have forging as well. Like Zuppi needs to get back here right now.
I think one villager dies here. She is just going to, yeah, she's dead. And Yo now happily runs away as he does encounter the spears and archers from Zuppi coming towards him in the center. But that's the first kill of the game, Dave, and Yo already using his extra attack and his mobility. He's so good at taking fights with scouts.
This is something I've never seen before. Zuppi has the spearmen on guard. They're guarding the archer, and they're following after. And I think they're on like stand ground because they didn't go after those scouts. Very interesting. And now Yo trying to put a tower down on his gold in his base. Zuppi is there, but I don't think he can deny it.
Yeah, no fletching, so we probably won't even, well, maybe she will die, maybe but yeah, the tower will protect the wood and the golds. And she's dead. Just a quick Dave quote for a second. We played a team game a month or two ago. One of our allies had units guarding like Zuppi just did, and Dave, I forget exactly what you said, but you said, wow, this guy he's using guard stance. Nobody does that that's any good. It was basically that. So Dave just made,
I didn't say it was
indirectly
good.
made
I
fun
said
of
it was
Zuppi.
interesting. Like,
No, you totally made fun of it, man. Anyway, so you can only build one tower unless you go to stone and collect more to build an additional one, right? So Zuppi will have some areas where he can get some engagements, some good engagements. But yo, look at this. Yo sends out the skirmishers. Oh, but the micro from Zuppi with his scouts will kill the skirms at the same
but he's
time.
losing bills at his base.
Yeah, 2 villagers go down and 2 attacks at once. No wonder they couldn't pay attention to them. I think that Yo had the better trade there, Dave.
And now he's coming in to pick off more villagers as well. He sees the weak ones, couldn't quite get her.
The weird thing about Zuppi's build is scouts into skirms counters it so hard, you know? But as I say that, Yo loses 2 of his scouts on the front. The skirmishers, though, can kill the spears and the archers that Zuppi is going into. And Zuppi's adding a second archer range. He's doubling down here. One thing I will say is with fletching on the way now, that's a lot of archers. And this might be the moment for him to hit Yo before Yo gets enough skirms massed and before Yo gets fletching. Because Yo doesn't even have a blacksmith built.
Yeah, Yo's pretty far ahead eco-wise. He's almost got wheelbarrow now. Zuppi hasn't gotten it, and Yo still has the Vill lead. And Yo is putting a lot of pressure on Zuppi's base. Like Zuppi's trying to figure out where he is with those scouts.
Yep, and Bloodline's on the way, so the scouts will go from 45 HP to 65 HP. Zuppi's running forward, so wow, will this be fun to watch. Zuppi's running forward with basically everything he has. He has 4 spearmen and a scout going back to defend his woodline. Yo's scouts, they don't have much HP. So I don't know if they'll get pickoffs, maybe one, but just look at the front of Yo's base. Without fletching, I think that Zuppi could kill that despite having to fight uphill.
Mm-hmm. Will he go around the other side?
He
Around the
is.
house wall. Look how nice that house wall is, by the way.
Yeah, Huns can't do that. Yeah, it's weird. Maybe he wanted to go to this wood line originally to see if Yo had gone down there. Yo has gone to stone for defensive towers, so it'll get harder and harder to find vulnerable areas. But here we go. Can't house wall all of it. Zuppi sees the villagers. Yo sees the army. Yo runs away. And Yo's actually sending his scouts back to defend at home at the moment, Dave. So he knows that trouble's coming.
Yeah, and that's a potential for a trap there. And Zuppi not even managing to get any villagers. And now he's putting himself in the back of Yo's base. This could be really bad for him.
Yeah. He knows that Yo isn't attacking him right now, so he probably sees it coming. The trade good so far, though. Picked off an archer and 2 spears. It's tough to judge.
South of Yo's base, he's just waiting. He's waiting for his moment to come in. He knows Zuppi can't push too far on this side, otherwise he goes into the TC. So he's waiting for enough scouts to come around behind him.
And it's not like Zuppi can reinforce easily either, because he'd have to loop the whole way around. And yep, here come the scouts. They have scale barding armor. They go for the spears first. The archers are running now. Scouts versus archers for both of them. The scouts much stronger for Mr. Yo. That's not bad for Zuppi.
That's a great spot to sit for him. That is so nice.
Oh, that's huge. What a play from Zuppi. He recognized he was being trapped, and the engagement was good. He killed some archers from Yo. He's now going to finish off the scouts. I know he's lost a bulk of his archers, but he can run away now. And now he's sending in another group, and he's sending more spears forward with the archers on the left-hand side, Dave. And he's getting scale barding himself and adding more scouts. So will this be a full feudal Huns? Well, it's not Huns War, but full feudal Huns play from Zuppi? It seems like it.
Yeah, and he's got map control right now. He may not be ahead in economy or like military upgrades, but he's got map control. And Yo is gonna run, if this continues, Yo is gonna run out of places to take wood.
Yes. However, Yo went to stone a while ago now. So he has 2 towers on the left-hand side now. He could tower the right-hand side. And with the towers, that means the archers can't do much for Zuppi. And he has invested into a lot of them. You know, Zuppi is risking a lot here by creating this much military, because if Yo is able to just hold and get to Castle Age, we know about the extra attack of Magars. That's what Yo wants to go for. He's floating a lot more resources. And then here comes Zuppi on the left-hand side. 1 villager down for Yo. However, Yo hops into the towers, and he's completely fine. What do you think, Dave? Should Zuppi commit underneath these towers soon?
I feel like he needs to sit on the other side of those 2 wood lines, nuggets of wood, whatever you want to call them, and just deny that, because Yo right now, he needs to sit on both sides, but Yo's up to the Castle Age, and it's going to get really rough for Zuppi here.
Yep, and Yo, he's now towering his farms in the center next to his stable. It's worth pointing out that all of these fights have happened while Zuppi had 2 archery ranges and a stable, and it was just 1 archery range and a stable for Mr. Yo. But this is where Mr. Yo is vulnerable. The scouts underneath the tower. 1 villager's down. Honestly, it could have been worse for Yo there. And again, I don't think that's bad for Yo.
And Zuppi should be clicking it. There he goes.
Zuppi clicks up.
Castle Age.
And look on the right, man. There's no tower for Yo, and here comes Zuppi with a lot of archers. Oh, man, he needs to distract Yo for a couple minutes. And a second stable now being placed for Yo. So he's going to go full knights. He'll probably go for +2 defense immediately. So it'll be chain barding plus iron casting. The attack upgrades are free. And Yo, on the right-hand side, he recognizes the army's coming in, so he builds a tower. So he's protecting himself from this, assuming that tower goes up. Just barely, Dave. Just
If he
barely.
see, he built it back there. That's not the greatest location, but he built it back there because he figured he had a better shot at getting it
Yeah.
up. If he had built
Yep.
it forward, it wouldn't have gone up.
Smart. And this is just, they're making these decisions in the blink of an eye. It's crazy how on point they are. Crossbow and Bodkin for Yo, so he goes for the ranged upgrades first, and he's also creating knights. Zuppi went in on the left. He was denied from doing damage on the left. I think Zuppi's had enough time, though, Dave.
Yeah, Zuppi needs to prevent Yo from going out and securing wood on the mainland. He just
Yeah.
needs to distract him, and he needs to go secure some himself, keep up the pressure, and hopefully strangle Yo from any resources.
Just as a refresher for those watching the stream, there are two key areas for both players to get wood. Yo on the left-hand side, where Zuppi's sitting currently with his scouts, and then on the right-hand side. So there's two locations for both, and here comes Yo forward, right next to the one wood option of Zuppi. Zuppi's going for crossbow and bodkin arrow as well.
And ballistics right away.
And ballistics right away, but the problem is cav archers need to be masked. The knights are very strong in low numbers. So Zuppi still needs to hold here. He will go cav archers after the crossbows. And you know what? That's an okay engagement to start here for Zuppi, I feel. If he gets that TC up next to his army, I think he'll be able to hold. Unfortunately for him, though, everything happening so fast, he throws away his crossbows.
He's going in with the scouts at the same time into Mr. Yo's base. He's gonna try and look for some picks, but those scouts are so weak.
Yeah, they got nailed by those towers, man. They got destroyed. So, 2 TCs for Zuppi. Interesting that he's TC'd the hill, where there, again, is not a lot of wood. I would use all the wood I have in the bank to get ballistics, and that's what Zuppi does. So now his shots won't miss. And Zuppi patrolling in the key areas now, and he sees Yo looping around. I don't think Yo can stay here once ballistics completes. A relatively even game. Zuppi with 3 more villagers and 8 more military. It's just down to what you prefer, knights or cav archers.
Yeah, and Yo's actually got a TC on the mainland as well, but it doesn't secure that much wood in front of his base there.
Yeah, I guess he's chosen to secure the gold, and Zuppi also has a forward gold. So there's so much we need to focus on, as always, in this tournament. The scouts go in from Zuppi yet again, but that's not the key area we need to look at. We need to look at the knights from Yo. He just got husbandry, and so he'll have the speed, and he's picking off Zuppi's villagers, so this will even things out with the vill count. And this is as Zuppi, well, he doesn't know where to go with his army at the moment, I guess. And so that surprised him. Zuppi's going to the right-hand side, Dave. He's going to the right-hand side. TC is there. But Yo has come back in with the crossbows on the left, so it's a 2-pronged force. He'll lose his knights on the right. He runs away, but now he comes in on the left-hand side. Does Zuppi see that? It seems like he does, because he has 20 villagers idle in that town center. This is well played for Mr. Yo. We haven't looked at his base in a couple minutes. He's been all over Zuppi.
Yeah, and he sees where that TC location is from Zuppi as well. Zuppi, however, has a couple scouts positioned on likely TC spots for Mr. Yo.
Yep.
So he's still trying to keep him from going out there.
Yeah, as you say that, the right-hand wood line for Yo is being TC'd. It's on low HP.
Okay,
He couldn't fight it, so he intentionally ran away there. He needs to run away as well in the center. While Yo has a lot of weak knights, Zuppi just still lacks the numbers of cav archers. That's what you need. You need the mass of them. And Yo is doing exactly what you should do with knights. Hit and run. Hit and run. You don't have to take full-on engagements. Just do a little bit of damage here. Run away. I don't know about that one. I guess he doesn't see the crossbows yet, Yo.
It's a lot of knights wasted there.
It is, and I still love how Yo has been using the crossbows, because he's not adding cav archers, right? So he doesn't care about range units all that much. Fantastic job. Zuppi, he's just behind, man. The population is very close, but Zuppi's waiting for that crucial mass of cav archers. He's chasing Yo everywhere you look.
Yo's got to be careful once Zuppi actually gets that, though. Once he
Yeah,
gets like the
correct.
30 cav archers, then his knights are going to be not as effective, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
he's losing some of his crossbows as well on the left-hand side.
Yep. I think now Zuppi can use these crossbows and go forward. Yo he's bought himself a lot of time to shore up his base, right? He has a Vil lead now. He has secure the woodlines and the gold, and he's still on stone, so maybe a castle to secure that central area would be important for him. Wow, his knights, I didn't expect Yo to do this. His knights arrived to the crossbows from Zuppi on the left, just as Zuppi's looking to run forward with his cav archers, and now the cav archers come back once again, Dave.
Good job from Yo putting pressure on every side here. Zuppi just doesn't have time to go forward.
Yeah. It's impossible to track the amount of idle time that Zuppi has had, but while he's 10 vills behind, I'd say it's more than likely been 20-ish because of how many times he's had to garrison TCs and stuff. So Yo with a commanding eco lead right now, and Zuppi looking to TC the right again. Yo's coming in. Man, there's two big engagements, one on the left that I think win, and one on the right where Zuppi gets the TC up. And he's still just holding, Dave. He hasn't found an opportunity to push out against Mr. Yo.
He might now, though. Look at the military number. He's starting to build up enough where he can think about pushing out.
Yeah, so maybe you use the crossbows defensively on the left, because the left has been a real pain for Zuppi. The crossbows aren't fast enough, so and then send the cav archers forward. And it's almost as if Yo expects this, Dave. Now he's teching into elite skirm.
Yeah, elite skirm is a really good move here, especially if he gets ballistics. I don't know if he already got it. No, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, no ballistics. This is game sense from Yo. He understands that his opponent is at that crucial or critical mass. He's adding a second archer range, so it'll take some time to actually get the skirmishers. And Zuppi, for the first time in a long time, running forward.
Ooh, if he got into that wood line there, he could have killed so much, but he's distracted again from the units from Yo. Yo just keeping him back at his base. Zuppi actually going for a 5th TC.
He needs to secure his base. I think that's the reason why. Just try and spam vills out of TCs and mass cav archers. Yo, he knows he needs to hold on to his knights. Will he go for vil pick? Oh, Zuppi, you need to chase the knights.
He can kill that TC. He can just kill the TC.
200 HP on the TC as well. But yeah, now the cav archers from Zuppi on the left-hand side, they'll go behind that wood line. He just lost his scout there when the TC went up, so he could find a few vil picks. It's so tough to know what players should go for here. I think you have to flood cav. So if Yo tries to go up to the Imperial Age, he'll just be called out. And speaking of being called out, what a deke from Yo.
At the bottom side, he's going to get into that TC. Will it be in time to deny it? I don't think so.
TC goes up, but if Zuppi's not paying attention, he'll lose all the vills. Wasn't too bad, I guess, in the end, Dave. Wasn't too bad.
Yeah, and for another time, like, Zuppi has to bring back his cav archers.
Yep. Mr. Yo has enough stone for a castle now. So I was just saying, like, maybe if you're Yo, you make more military before clicking up to imp, but it's a different story if you can build a castle, and especially if the castle is placed there. Yo clicks up to the Imperial Age. He's building a castle that Doubt would be proud of. Yo might actually get this one up. Zuppi's been chasing Yo all day. And these skirmishers have full upgrades. The castle's at 30%. Can Zuppi deny this? He sees it's going up there. He's killed the knights on the right-hand side as well, Dave. If he were to deny this castle, it'd be huge, but I don't think he can.
He won't get it.
So now Zuppi has to depend on that TC on the right to give him gold, because no gold left at his main base.
The cav archers on the right-hand side are on a mission as well. If Yo doesn't notice that, he can pick off a lot of vills, get right back into that farming eco maybe in the back of Yo's base. But Yo putting a siege workshop down, he wants to pressure the front of Zuppi's area.
Yeah, and I think Zuppi's window is closing slowly, right? He doesn't have the resources to click to imp. He's been chasing Yo all Castle Age. And Yo's economy is much, much stronger. He has a few more vills, and he's on his way to imp, and he has more gold control now. So I think Zuppi needs to somehow avoid that castle, distract Yo enough where Yo has to chase him, and maybe he needs to focus the
Zuppi
wood
making a
areas.
castle on the left side. Okay, and Yo's gonna see that. Oh, that's
Isn't
so
it
fortunate for
insane?
Yo. Yeah.
I don't even know, like, Yo's been playing so good. I don't even know if that's fortunate. I feel like he knows that's a vulnerable area, and he scouts that side intentionally at the right moment. Of course, the castle won't be denied, but he at least knows it's there. And he also has the skirms on the right, Dave, to kill Zuppi's cav archers. So Imperial H about to hit. Zuppi needs to push more. He can build a second castle soon, Zuppi. But Cavalier on the way for Yo.
Yeah, he's opting for Cavalier and Conscription before a Treb to take down that castle. So I guess he just wants to upgrade his military first before he pushes in.
He has the gold now after taking Zuppi's, and he has utilized his mobility all game. So I think you send the batch of knights next to the castle right into the main eco. Just keep Zuppi running, which is what he's done. It's worked out so far. Why not continue to do the same?
Yo is insane as well. He's paying attention to so many places at one time. Zuppi is in the back of his eco, and Yo has already garrisoned villagers in there.
And he's sending skirms. And he's sending skirms. I said to, I believe it was Dave, or I said it to Zach actually after the stream yesterday. This is like Yo from 2 years ago. He is playing lights out. He's flawless, honestly. It's so good. He's had less military, but his engagements have been good. And this could be the GG engagement with the Cavalier and Zuppi's base. Zuppi, he's trying to get to the Imperial Age, but look at the losses he's taking now. Yo is all around the map. He's cleaning up the Cav archers. He's killing the castle now from Zuppi. Everywhere you look, Yo is taking good fights. And I think the end is near for Zuppi at this rate.
So impressive for him. He's paying attention everywhere.
Yep. And I think the GG has to come in. Yeah, there it is. Because Zuppi was about to lose the castle. Zuppi would lose those lumberjacks. It's mind-blowing. He did this yesterday versus Xiaofan, and a lot of people were saying, okay, it's Xiaofan, right? But this is Zuppi. Like, Yo played lights out, and like, how many times did Zuppi start running forward and then run right back because he had to defend? Like 5, 6 times in Castle Age? Crazy game from Yo.
Well, it was two different strategies. Zuppi's like, I'm gonna strangle Yo with my military. I'm not gonna let him get out there. And Yo's strategy was, I'm just gonna send all my military forward and just keep him at his base.
Yeah. The initial feudal age strategy from Zuppi also kind of caught Yo off guard, and he adapted. I think the biggest thing was he went to stone rather early. And while that sounds like a simple thing, if he didn't build towers, he would have been completely overrun. And normally players won't go to stone if they don't think they need it, as that will slow down their castle time. But in this case, it saved Mr. Yo. That on top of all the engagements for him were really solid. It wasn't even just the knights, those crossbows. He got so much value out of the crossbows, idling farms from Zuppi, picking off villagers from Zuppi, when Zuppi was never expecting Yo to have range units in the first place. So we'll move on to the achievements. Yo with a stronger kill-death ratio. Interesting that the largest army was the same in the end. I think that was when the Imperial Age hit. Yo just completely overran Zuppi with skirms and Cavalier. Eco difference, huge food difference, huge gold difference in favor of Mr. Yo, and that is what he used to fund his economy of Cavalier and skirmishers. And beyond that, I think we know what happened. Yo just outplayed Zuppi, and we'll be moving on to game 2 shortly, where Zuppi will need a win to stay in this best of 3.
Yo was also getting Paladin. I just noticed that. That's crazy.
Oh, really? I didn't even see that. That's
he just clicked it.
That's confidence right there. That is confidence. It's not a tech you often go for unless you know you have a commanding lead. So this one, while there were different areas to focus on, it was all land, Dave. The next one is cross again. So we saw how good Leary played versus Doubt a few games ago on cross. Maybe we can see Zuppi take control of the ponds and then take control of the land. Well, I guess it depends on the civilizations, depends on a lot. So we'll have to wait for the actual game to start. But man, I'm pumped, man. Yo played so good.
If I'm Zuppi right now and I'm going up against Yo on a map like Cross, where you have to pay attention to 15 million different places,
Yep.
I'm gonna be nervous.
Yeah.
Yo looked lights out last game.
I think the correct thing for someone from Finland to do would be to take a 15-minute break and hop in the sauna, right?
Sauna.
Sauna.
Close enough.
All right, folks, welcome to game 2 between Zuppi and Mr. Yo. Mr. Yo played lights out last game as Magyars versus Huns. Zuppi, he played well, but he just couldn't match up to what Mr. Yo had for him. In the blue, we have Zuppi. He's to the northwest. This map is cross, and then we have Yo in the southeast. So, Dave, before I talk about the maps this time around, could you just talk about cross and how, like, what you need to focus on this map?
You need to focus on everything, man. You'll go to one pond to start fishing. Your enemy will go to another. A lot of the times, the second pond you dock is your enemy's pond to put aggression on them. And then when you have the time, you send a villager to the other ponds on the map. And at the meantime, you are fighting for land control so you can get the walls up and put pressure on your enemy.
Yeah, it's wild. Last game, we were focusing on only land. This time, it'll bring the water into the equation. So, small little sellout segment. IMT90 official. This is Vicious Marauder. If you'd like to check out our channels, you can type !casters. Every 5,000 views Dave gets on his YouTube, he does a special video or whatever it was. What was it? 1,000? I forget.
Videos behind.
So anyway, to force him to do that, follow his YouTube. And we cast together a lot, so I'm really enjoying this so far today. Now, one thing to point out, going back to the game now, is that Mr. Yo's closer to a pond, and his TC slightly blocks Zuppi from getting to that pond, right? So that's nice.
Base as well. If he walls up near that cliff, he can secure that pond, which is a rarity in cross.
Yeah, and the left-hand side is already... I don't know which side you're referring to with the cliff, but there's a cliff on the left-hand side that he could wall with. Yo,
the bottom
would
side.
secure a stone. Yeah. And while there's 1 gold forward for him, I don't think he will complain with multiple safe wood options, safe gold option, and then a safe pond, which he's about to dock as he pushes in a deer as well.
The weirdest thing for me here is the civs. Like, Vikings, it'd be very nice for booming up. You get the cheap docks and everything, but you can't, on the expansions, you can't really put early pressure on your opponent, because if you make 3 galleys, they just make a fire ship.
Yo, Vikings is a weird pick. That didn't even cross my mind, Dave.
Yeah.
Because we had so many other things to talk about. So
his eco is going to be amazing. Like, his eco is going to be off the charts. But if Zuppi gets back into that pond, or if he decides to fight in Feudal Age the water battles, it's going to be really, really rough for Yo.
You almost can't do anything if they get the dock up. You can't do anything because you can't make 4 or 5 galleys with fletching and just wait there hoping. I mean, maybe you make 1 galley and you patrol along the edge of the pond so they can't dock. Maybe that's a strat. But as you said, Dave, if your opponent gets fires in your pond, then you're likely going to lose all of your fish just because of the strength of the fires in low numbers. Looking at Zuppi's base for a moment, his main gold is awful. His main gold is disgusting. There's no other way to say it. And his secondary gold's right there. He does not have any gold in the back. So Yo using his hacks here. Like, all 3 golds are forward, very far forward for Zuppi. He'll need to be aggressive on water and on land.
Yeah. I mean, if if that gold was like, if that gold was someone you were interested in, you would say it had a nice personality.
Exactly.
It's bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Only swipe right if you're desperate, right? And he will be desperate for it. So he'll
also,
go out to it.
The Italians for Zuppi, very, very nice civ on this. The fishing ships are cheaper. I believe, right? Is that the bonus? Look at me casting games.
The worst thing is I don't know if that applies to making. This is normally where you would check the tech tree, but I can do the same as well.
It costs 20% less.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's nice to spam them out. You can tell how often Dave and I cast maps that involve fishing ships.
And Yo
go ahead.
Yo is actually walling up early, so he's going to have that whole area secure, and it's sacrificing 4 villagers worth of idle time to do so. And Zuppi is seeing that very early as well with the scout.
And he has docked the back and walled it off. So there's no risk of Zuppi stealing this pond from him. However, Yo's just giving up control to the other ones, which I find interesting. So both click up the feudal age. Zuppi's a little bit later. Yo with one more villager. Will it be archers? These are both fantastic archers, skirm civs. We saw scouts, but it was Huns versus Huns with Lyrian Doubt. So I somehow doubt we'll see scouts with these civilizations.
I feel like if you're going Vikings and you're walling up like this, you're not going for the early aggression, right? Like
Well,
you're playing it safe and you're going for the late game.
You're definitely playing it safe, but looking at what Yo has with resources, he cannot fast castle. And I was thinking the same thing, but he has 4 fishing ships. He has 400, around 500 food. He's not on berries and he has nothing underneath his TC. So it's likely he'll start with ranges, I guess. But you know what he might do is just sacrifice army count, not make as much military and make more economy. That might be the play.
Also, only made like the 4 fishing ships is really weird to me, but I guess he wants to go for archers probably, and the barracks is going to be late for him.
Yeah. Zuppi, this is kind of good for Zuppi in a way, right? Because as he adds an archery range, he won't be hit by Yo for a while anyway. So Yo's barracks is late. Thus his archery ranges will be late. Yo trying for a stronger economic approach. He's well behind in the fishing ship count. Now, I'm sure everyone watching this on Twitch is very good with math. So if you guys could tell me just how much wood Zuppi saved with 8 fishing ships, 20% off, I'd appreciate it. I'll totally believe you if you spit out some random number. That whatever it is, the discount was significant enough where Zuppi has a 3 fishing ship lead. So
it's more than 10.
500, 384 to 1,000. Oh, someone got it right. 3,421. Okay. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Well done. Well done. Blacksmith for Yo. Again, I don't think he's in a huge rush to get these upgrades because he has the walls. There's going to be a lot of people annoyed in the Twitch chat now because they're like, oh, what's the right number? I have to do the math. It seems like
luckily,
2020.
Luckily for you, Twitch, this is quite a conservative game, so you have the time.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Zuppi has scouted that, and let's talk about what he can see outside of Yo's walls, right? So he can see that one stone, which his scout is next to. He can see that gold, which is forward. Also, he sees the hill. And honestly, there's not a large distance between the players' military buildings right now. So, like a siege workshop on the hill for either player in Castle Age would be absolutely huge. Beyond that, he sees the gold in the south, I guess, as well.
This is so greedy for Yo. Just now putting down another archer range. He's like, man, Zuppi's not going to attack me. I guess I'll just go up. And then I'll start producing military units. Like, only 3 archers now for him.
Yep. I think the goal is to hit Castle Age faster. It's tough for me, Dave. Like, normally I'd say Zuppi should wall up with the time that Yo has given him. But he can't really wall his gold into a safe position. So he's walling the other areas. It's also tough for me to say if he should take the other ponds, but I think the answer is yes, because over time that will pay off for him. So maybe go to the northern ponds now.
I think Yo is going to go to the pond in the south. So Yo is branching out now. He deleted a part of his wall to get that villager out.
Yeah.
And he's going to go down there. Also going to go up way faster than Zuppi is. Well, at least 30 seconds faster.
Free wheel with Vikings. It kind of helps a little bit. And yes, he clicks up. It's also very good. You know, it seems like a small thing to most people in the audience, but Yo lowered the HP on Zuppi's scout. So if Zuppi happened to have encountered Yo's scout in the south, or sorry, Yo's villager in the south, he could have picked it off, but now that he's on low HP, I don't think he could. So that dock will go up.
Yo's gonna see the dock in the north as well. That's very important if he wants to go there.
Yeah. So while it's passive play from Yo, he is 1 behind in military. He's 2 behind in fish, but he's a few villagers ahead, and he knows exactly where he needs to pressure. So not too bad for him. Not too bad at all.
Yo also has Zuppi was forced to make a watchtower safely on that gold, so he can't TC right away. Whereas
Yeah,
Yo can
good point.
just double TC down, and if he wants to fortify these walls of his, maybe go for a super safe, super turtley kind of strat here in the Castle Age.
So thinking about the civs once again as Yo loses his scout to Zuppi's TC, I think late game Vikings are better in almost every way here.
Mhm.
They have archers which match the Italian archers. They have a better economy in feudal age, castle age onwards. The unique unit for Italians, it doesn't counter anything the Vikings will throw at him. So with that logic, I think Zuppi should play aggressive and utilize this hill. Yo hits castle. He's getting his upgrades, so he will be able to run up the hill once he gets them. Saying that, though, he just researched fletching, so maybe not. And Zuppi's scouting this out, Dave. Yeah, sending a skirmisher forward, sacrificing this to see just how much Yo has.
Doesn't see that siege workshop yet, though. Oh, he's coming around with the scout on the left-hand side of Yo's base. He's going to see it.
Yep.
Can't deny it.
It's weird how Yo placed it there. I think that was the Dockville, right? So he just didn't want to waste time and go to the hill or risk getting her sniped. And both players with the siege workshop, so both players recognizing the importance of this middle area. And I believe as the game goes on, Yo's advantage will just get greater and greater because he's Vikings. He gets free handcart. That's a huge economic upgrade. And Zuppi, knowing he needs to push back, is adding a second siege workshop, Dave. A second one.
And look at where Yo is going with that third TC of his and that gold at the front. And he's putting it at the front of that gold so that the crossbows can't come close to snipe the villagers. It's securing map control. He could have easily put it at the back of his base, but he really wants that map control.
Yeah. So great TC for him. So while they are adding tons of military, they are also adding economy. And oh, Yo running a little bit too far in, but he might. And he kills the Mangonel of Zuppi. That was Yo. Very good micro from him. And I think he has the numbers to take this fight as well.
And Zuppi trying to get that TC at the back. He's just delaying Yo until that TC can go up. He wants to run around here.
It's 14 military versus 8. The TC will go up for Zuppi, but Zuppi's advantage is gone. He might have one extra fishing ship, but on a map like this, you need to have middle control. With Zuppi's Mackinac next to his archery ranges, getting a shot in, but this is not looking very good for him. What Zuppi needs is Mackinac trades, and he needs a few of them.
Yeah, Zuppi's opting for the double siege workshop, even though he can't even come close to producing from both of them.
Yeah, worth pointing out that Yo has not added any farms whatsoever. It's all fish. Zuppi has added a few farms, and he has more food because of it, but that food's not giving him anything. He's actually going to sell some food here. Watch. He'll sell some food for gold. So, better economy balance for Mr. Yo as he evades another Mackinac shot. I'm waiting to see if he sells food. Sell some food, man. He's not doing it. Okay. Well, 1 for 1 there with the Mangonels, but Zuppi's gold is forward, Dave. And Yo's going in to micro down the Mangonel. He splits away from it and kills the repair villager. He micros again, loses just 1 crossbow, which is not the end of the world. Zuppi needs more. He needs better trades. And maybe a castle. He's pretty heavy on stone. 400 stone. Maybe a castle to protect him.
He needs some way to utilize that food, too.
Yeah, but it's tough. I mean, speaking of which, I was going to say food wouldn't really help. Yo's going to add stables. A few knights would be helpful to kill his enemy Mangonels.
He needs some farms before he does that.
And Yo, yeah, Yo is on his 3rd villager kill, 4th villager kill, and 5th villager kill on Zuppi's woodline. Sorry, it was only 4 in the end.
And
My
he
predictions aren't very
right
good.
Away. He notices everything right away.
The Mangonel? I know. Well, he lost a few crossbows. He didn't notice that, but it's been pretty solid. It's been 97.1% perfection for Mr. Yo, who will now finish off Zuppi's archery range on the front. It's 19 military versus 4 military. Zuppi, he has the stone to build a castle, but even if he places it, it's going to be in a very passive position. It has to be between the 2 golds, I think.
Yeah, and if you put it too far back, he can still range the golds. Oh, is it going to be on the hill? Oh no, Zuppi! This has
Eh,
such potential for disaster if Yo doesn't
yeah.
notice it. I don't think he does. Oh, now he does.
Yo notices it. He has 3 Mangonels. He has crossbows. He sees a lot of villagers. He's also sending in the knights.
This is going to be huge. He already got a Mangonel from Zuppi, and he might get 2 more.
And the GG is called before the castle even gets denied. Somewhere Doubt is saying, I am not alone.
I feel you, my brother.
I mean, that's what he needed to do, right? So it's not that that was a bad play. I think if he wanted to build that castle safely, he would have had to build it almost behind his golds, right? Because he didn't have the hill and he didn't have the Mangonels. Yo has been so dominant. His unit control has been insane in all the games I've seen from him in this tournament. 33 kills, 19 deaths. He had more fishing ships than the Italian player. At one point, he was killing fishing ships in the left corner. More fishing ships, more vills, more kills, more military. It's just well-deserved best of 3 victory for Mr. Yo.
He played the Civ perfectly.
He did.
He had a map that enabled him to do so as well, which is really important to note. And
Yeah.
as soon as he saw his map, he just turtled up, got those fishing ships out, and then took control of the map, like right in front of his base, and pushed back against Zuppi's awful main gold.
Yeah. So I think if you have a map like that, you have to switch it up a little bit if you're Zuppi. I don't necessarily agree with that in town centers. I think if his trades would have been slightly better, or maybe if he had more crossbows, he could have built a castle in the front instead of building it defensively, and then it could have been an entirely different game. But I think what let Zuppi down was that he was behind, not in the uptime, but he was behind in the crossbow numbers because he had to go immediately into a defensive siege workshop. And Yo's was very offensive. So you probably have to credit Yo more than you can discredit Zuppi. But that's the only way I could see Zuppi winning with this map, is if he had more offensive pressure right when Castle Age hit. All right, guys. So to the achievements then, I already talked about the kills. You can see that there for Mr. Yo. Moving on to the economy, Yo with more wood and more gold. Zuppi had more